Yes, guys. Hope everyone's good. I've got a quick little break from work, a very quick one, from uni work. So I'm gonna do it. I promise I'll do it. I'll deliver. What I'm gonna focus on, as you can see from the title, is I'm gonna focus on Patrick Bamford's performance today. Some people thought it was good, some people thought it was bad. I'm gonna review the footage and go through what I would do in this situation as an analyst, how I'd analyze his performance based on what I believe the coach wanted him to do and how effective that was. That's what I'm going to go through. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think at the end of the video. Yeah, and as you can see, it's straight off from the start. You can see the slight different information. As you can probably tell, they 4-3-3, we were 4-2-3-1. Well, 4-2-3-1. I guess, yeah. Or you could kind of say 4-3-3. You know, formations, it's hard to define a formation because formations constantly change depending on what area of the pitch you're on. If you're in the ball out possession, in transition, high up the pitch, below the pitch, if they're going into a block, you change formation. Formation is very fluid, but as you can see, we clearly have three in midfield, one slightly higher, whereas they have three in midfield, which are quite flat. And actually, these two midfielders here were often more higher than Freuler. And what they did when they attacked this guy and this guy kind of played in these half spaces, and which allowed Dennis and Johnson to push right out, Gibbs White through the middle to stretch us using the base of them three in midfield. But as it's set, these were the formations. But like I said, formations are very fluid. They change a lot, especially in this day and age. It's endless, honestly. It changes a lot. Yeah, let's get into it. And just as we start, you can see 21 seconds in, there's a lot of aspects of a striker's performance which are kind of important. But as a coach, from what I've experienced anyway, coaches, every fan wants a complete striker, right? But every coach knows, unless you're at your name's Haaland, potentially this day and age, Rashford, whatever you guys like to say or not, good strikers, almost complete players, can do a bit of everything in terms of what the team needs. And that's what's important. We are not the team who can go out there and pick up a 50, 60 million pound striker. So what you have to do then is find a bargain or take a risk on a player who you think could be that player, who could then have that value. You know, we saw it with Rafinha, we've seen it with William Gnonto now. As a striker, we know our options. Now, what I like about, what I like about our options in Rodrigo and Bamford is they're very different. Now, ideally, you want a striker with the clinicalness, is that a word? Probably. And that kind of instinct of Rodrigo, that clutch of Rodrigo, with the work ethic and the real ingenuity of Bamford in certain areas, which I will show. That's a difficult striker to find. There is ones out there, but they are all at big clubs or will be going to big clubs for 70, 80 million. So what you have to do as a coach is, what do you want your striker to do? Bamford's role in this team now, for me, is very clear. And now for him, it's just about working on what Javi wants for him as a striker and how to define these things and make him more effective in a game. And that's what it's about for Javi. It's making every player in their position effective against the opponent. So we'll get into this. And I just want to show you quickly, you can see here, straight away, 21 seconds in, this ability for our striker. And look, we are far back here. I know it's a throw-in, but this is way past the halfway line. He's dropped right in there. Now, usually what you'll see in this position, most times, is you'll see, you know, the winger here or the centre mid will come over here and the winger will be behind and you'll try a flick into the middle for a centre mid. But actually what Bamford's done is it's come really short. Now, I can't tell. I think this is Danilo. So what that's actually done is that's dragged Danilo right out. And Toffolo, as you know, on corners, you double it. You have to go in front. So that's occupied two guys. Now, usually this would be a winger. And Bamford would be way up there. You know, nowhere near. But what he's actually done is occupy two defenders, which allows Jack to run off his man. And that's a constant theme. That's one thing I really picked up on, is how we occupy players.
We took players out of position, so it made players feel uncomfortable.
And this is the first bit of play Bamford gets involved in, which was actually really effective. So actually, Sinny's headed the ball down in this area between Aronson and Bamford's got on the end of it, basically. Now, what he's done here is he's obviously cut shorter. Brendan's got him behind, but what he's done is he's held on the ball to allow players to be in position. As you can see here, really now, the only real option is Jack, but he's facing the other way. He's on his left foot. So what he's done is he delayed by 2 or 3 seconds to actually allow players to come into it. So what happens here, if he goes early to the left, to Sinistera, 1, he's in a position to receive the ball. 2, he's not set in his position. And 3, he'll have lack of options. So what he does, and it's very smart, is he delays by 2 or 3 seconds. It's very simple, but very smart. And there it is. There's that delay. He draws 2 guys into him. Again, look at the guys around him. He's drawing him out and he's drawing him out. Where their wingers are, I don't know. Ball watching. But what this allows then is it draws these guys in. Furpo has all this space. So you can have a push up there. Sinistera is already now set. As you can see, he's already looking back now. As before, he was looking forward. He knows he's expecting this ball to come out to Furpo. And that's good centre forward play. Very good centre forward play. He's waited and allowed his players to get in position, and now we're in a more threatening position. As you can see, Jack Harrison can come out this side. Luke Ayling can advance. Yeah. Brendan Aronson is in behind to occupy these defenders, to allow Sinistera to have a 1-on-1 or a 2v1. If Furpo is played in by Bamford, which we know he is here. And this is just an example of what the shape did, as you can see. So that allowed then, what we've done then is a quick reaction. Jack is coming in the back post. Bamford now is absolutely busting a gut, by the way. Of course, it's 50 seconds in to get into that box. And again, the threat of Patrick Bamford is huge because what he does here, and I really love it, is he occupies 2 defenders. He goes in between. He's never stood on him. Especially when it's in behind. He's always in between. And that is a nightmare for a defender. You don't know who's marking. You've got to constantly communicate. You get him, but then when he comes to you, he'll go back. Good centre forward play. And as you can see from that pass, it's created this chance straight away. Sinistera out here. 1-on-1. That's what you want. Here it is again. Occupies what I said about occupying players. That's what he's done here. And actually, it's quite smart. Him and Brendan often switched. I think we identify Brendan as not as a physical threat. So sometimes in areas where the ball's a bit more flat and not as forward as quick, in areas like this where it's more across, Brendan actually goes deeper. Because then you've got that pacing behind. And with Bamford, you've got a bit more occupation, and it's that word, I don't know if that's a word, occupying players. He's really good at occupying players. And the ball in here, what he does is he comes in short, and he creates a little triangle between him, Harrison and Ayling. But what he actually does is, his movement here has dragged the centre-back and the central midfielder right out of position, which would then allow the gap in behind for Aronson, or a triangle here for Jackie to run in behind. It's good coaching and it's good execution. Jackie obviously on form in this game. Found him. And there it is, as you can see. So now the idea here is a little set off to Jackie, or Jackie can run here, take him away and give Ayling all this space in here, and we can play it across. Or even Jackie can, even if Aronson could make a little run in here, a little pass through. The point is this, and I'm analysing Patrick Bamford here. You always have to contextualise it in a team performance, but as an individual, that movement has allowed him to occupy 2 players, which has massively left gaps everywhere. Look, that's a central midfielder. McKennie's got loads of space. Jack Harrison's overlapping runs, which were huge in this game by both fullbacks and wingers. Jack can take him out, and then allow Ayling this space here to then play it across. All because Bamford decided and Aronson did that little switch and executed it perfectly. And that's what he does. That's what Jack does. The ball comes to Ayling, the ball goes out to McKennie, and we can recycle back across with 4 of their players in this cluster. So there's obviously an overload over here somewhere. And again, just a quick one. Really good centre forward play. Look how deep he's come in order to build that play up, which is clearly something we've identified. Now here what he does is, the ball, I think McKennie heads the ball and he's right there. He's a presence.
And this is where Rodrigo's not.
Rodrigo's got good movement, but in actual occupying a defender, I've seen people suggesting that he didn't. He did. He occupied defenders really well. And I know he's a big lad, but
so are the defenders.
and they want the ball just as much as him. But what he does here, and it's unlucky because Aronson don't get on the end of it, he holds him up and he puts up the chest out. It's the right option, just the execution. But again, he's in these positions and he's allowing us to build the play up fast or slow, depending on what we need at that time. Just a little one there, look. So he things it down to Aronson. Aronson's touch is a bit thing and it goes out wide. He kicks it out of play. But there it is, there's the options. And if Aronson touches that in there, he's took these three out of play. Sinistera's going and Aaron Jackie's going to go on his bike as well. All because our striker occupied this defender and brought him really short and out of where he didn't want to go. And again, a few seconds later, ball comes into Jack out here. Jack flicks one high, up in there, instantly. First time. Because he knows Bamford's going to be there. And what Bamford does again, effectively and well, is held the ball up against this defender, who's a big lad as well. Clearly, he's massive, right? But what this is doing, as you can see, occupying him, especially when we came from deep, so he's pushing them up, is allowing the space in behind for Aronson, which he did really well running in that space that Bamford left. He did really well. So what Bamford actually does here, he holds the ball up, he gives it out, wins a foul. He wins a foul for your team. Keeps the ball, he holds possession. That's what you want. That's good centre-forward play. Yeah, it's that Niakite who was about 6'4", or 6'5", massive. So to hold him off, I know Bamford's quite big, but he's not that big. It's good play. It's really good play. Yeah, this one here. So Aileen whips the ball in, and as any coach will tell you, which I've been drilled into me, can't have two players in that close position when you've got an entire box. Aileen whips a good ball in, which goes over this guy's head and into this area here. This defender, Felipe, clears it. Now these two are too close. This is where Bamford has to anticipate this, just make that earlier run into the middle of the box, the penalty spot, the penalty area, around there, that's where you get told. They're a bit close here. And this is what I mean, that instinct. You know for a fact, if that ball's coming in there, Rodrigo will be, he'll be where he needs to be. He'll be in this position. They're a bit close there, he doesn't quite anticipate the movement, and that's the difference for me. It's not a negative, that's just how they are. Players are different type of players. Bamford's not that instinct. But yeah, that's just the differences in the players. What I liked about this was we won the ball in midfield here. And it's a quick ball in here from Rocker to Aronson. And you see where Bamford starts. And look at the time. Look at the time. Watch. There's 2 seconds later. And just look how much he's stretched. Look how much he's stretched the defensive line. He's occupying 2 guys. The entire defensive line is gone. Aronson has this space, which creates space right down here in between the lines, and will create space out here for Jack. You can just see his head there. Look, people go, oh, it's just basic centre-forward play. Yes, basic, but very effective. And that's what's important. It's effectiveness. And I'll go through some times where Bamford lost the ball. But for me, it's about the process. The execution will come with time. It's about the process. It's about the ideology. It's about thinking. It's about what the coach wants. And simple stuff like this, like going, not even stretching them, but going further out to occupy 2 defenders to actually allow Sinistera to have space, is very smart. And he's done that on purpose because he's actually arced his run outwards. He doesn't want to be in this. He doesn't want to create clusters in here. He dragged them out so then 2 occupy him, which allows space for Sinistera. And Furput, as you can see, he's coming on his bike and he's going to overload. Good centre-forward play. Just again, quickly, again, coming really short, occupying the defender to create space in behind. Ailing passes the ball here to Bamford, who comes really short in this space, occupies the defender, he's out of position. Flicks the ball out to Ailing, who tries to kick it down the line and wins a corner. Good centre-forward play. Effective centre-forward play. There's a result. As you can see, occupying 2 guys. Aronson, a little space in behind there. It's a good play. Yeah, again, just a little one here. Again, just on the positional, on how Rodrigo is more effective. Jack whips the ball into the box. Again, he's a little flat-footed.
This is where you kind of want him to start further out, then make that little run in. Aronson takes this guy out. There's a little area in here again. But this is it. This is what it's about. I'll show what I think he could improve in this system and how he could be more effective as well. I'm not just going to show all these good bits. What I like here, and this is the ball that goes to Aronson here. But what I like, again, with Bamford, here he is. You just see him under my head here. He's dragged out wide. So what this has actually done is occupy. So basically, these defenders would be more narrow, right? Ideally, this guy's out here. He's more of a right back. He doesn't want to be out there. He's a 1v1, and Bamford's actually behind him on his shoulders, so he's got to keep checking. Which also in this area here, Aronson now has a free 1v1 with this guy, so he's watching him. He's behind him. He can't because Sinisterra is occupying Williams. There's a 1v1 there, and a 1v1 there, and a 1v1 there, which allows Luke Ayling space out wide. And that's because Patrick Bamford, instead of being a central striker and actually just stood in this area, he's dragged him out. Now, what I like about this is, with Aronson in that gap, is it near Kite, has slightly stepped up to watch him. Because Bamford's out there, which has allowed Jack to just sneak in behind and get this ball over the top. Now, the ball it's a little too far for him, but the idea and the movement from Bamford to drift out wide and create this area where Jack Aronson can get in behind, also with Aronson just sitting in that gap, it's good centre forward play, it's good attacking play, and it's good coaching. As you can see, the execution's a little off. It's the ideas. Again, the ball's kind of come off Rocker in this area. The first person to react to that ball, Patrick Bamford, straight onto it, for any of their players, for any of our players. What does he do in this position here? He's got one or two options. He can run, or he can wait for his team to be in a position to play, and chooses the second option. Holds the guy up, occupies two guys again, and a lot of this is to do with Aronson's run as well, going in behind, but he's occupying two guys, which creates spaces in here. Look, 1v1, give the ball to Rocker, and create that 1v1 for Sinisterra out wide. And he does that. He gives the ball to Rocker, who gives the ball to Sinisterra. Good centre forward play. That's 3 times now in the first 17 minutes he's had a chance to hold it up, and all have been successful. No, 4. Was it 3? All been successful. So people saying, and I know he did do it. He did lose the ball a few times. He did. I'm not stupid about that, but we also can't forget the times he did really well and created a lot of chances for us to play. You know, for all Rocker's outstanding passing, he gives 3 or 4 passes away. That's just football. But you see it more from Patrick Bamford because people want to see it more at times. But yeah, I thought all the team was outstanding, and this is just showing how I thought Patrick Bamford was just that. Yeah, lays the ball to Rocker. That's 3 defenders out of it with 1 pass. 1v1 with Sinisterra out here. Now he's reacting before these guys who are all going to the ball. He's now going to run in there.
Good centre forward play. And this is an interesting one. And this is just a little thing. So when Jack gets the ball here, Bamford actually starts here. He's around this area looking for the 1-2. But what he actually does is he just quickly bolts back. He takes this defender away. So if the option was there, it allows all this space. And it's just a little one. Because striker would usually start in the box. But what he does is he comes to connect the play like he has been doing, but he actually just drops back in. And recognises that we could be another 1v1 situation here. And this is where the goal is what leads to the goal. And it's just a little one as well. This little overlap here is brilliant. He's not going to do it. But this guy's going to have to follow his man. Which just allows Jack to come inside. And then McKennie passes it on to Rocker. We know what happens. Good play. Good coaching. Really good coaching. This was a great move. We did a bit of passing down here. Cine gets it here. Ball into Aronson. Bamford does really well. So what he does is, he starts out wide. And this ball goes into Aronson. Firpo's, this is what I was talking about yesterday, instinct. They're already going forward. They're already going that way. Aronson plays a nice ball into Firpo here. And Bamford, what he does is, starts wide, creates this space in here. So this guy has no idea if he's coming or going. Because Aronson played really well in between the lines. I should have done an Aronson video as well, because I've seen a lot of things I like in it. But what Bamford does now, simple movement, tucks in,
Allows all this space for Firpo.
What he does is he doesn't stop it there. He actually creates that run. Oh, and if Firpo can get this pass off, Bamford's in. And what a move that would have been, honestly. I talked about yesterday, there was aspects of this game that would be Bielsa-esque. And that's what I'm talking about. It was like 4 or 5 passes that quick forward. It was brilliant. And here, it's good movement. Because not only is he give Firpo space and give himself space, but he's actually lost his man. Because his man now, because of how advanced Firpo is, doesn't know whether to come or go. And if Firpo kicks it at him, but if you can just get this ball off to Bamford in here, it'd be a great goal. Really good movement from all the players, but we're focused on Bamford, and he's rolling this goal, rolling this chance. Opportunity was very big and very important. Again, has it in this position. Now here's one way, and the result of this is he wins a free kick, so he doesn't lose the ball. That's 5 times now he's done the same thing and not lost the ball in the first half. Obviously, the quick option here would be a ball to Cine. You'd think, right, and that's what I was saying, give it Cine, but I think he actually tries, he swipes the ball and misses it. But then what he does to react to that is uses his body well, stays in front of the defender who's about 6'5", who's all over him, occupies this guy as well. Little ball to Rock, a little ball to Cine, but what he does do is win a free kick. So if you can't get the first option, get the second option, win the free kick, and he did that. Now look, this is what this guy does. Occupies players, which creates these spaces. So like we've seen, when he does get it off, there is so much space. When he doesn't get it off, what he's done now so far, and he does lose the ball, he does lose it, but in this situation, he wins a free kick if you can't get the ball off. You see the ref's about to blow. So far, 30 minutes in, 27 minutes in, I'm asking, I get he lost the ball times, but as of yet, he's not. I've watched. Well, he's lost it in like terms of in the box areas. But in terms of actual the play, the build up, I'm not talking about the end product. I'm talking about the build up. He's not lost it. He's won 2 3 kicks and held the ball up successfully 3 times. That's what you need from your centre forward. And that's what we got. Another one here. Look, as you can see here, this is Rocker, who's people that don't rate Rocker, I'm sorry. Why? What a footballer, by the way. Flourishing in the system. Yeah, this ball here from Rocker is to Bamford, who has done it again. So you can see Aronson here at the bottom of the picture and Jack. Jack's actually off the pitch. That because of the build-up. Jack gives the ball to Rocker. Now, what Bamford's recognised, and this is part of the system, when Jack's dropped deep, there's so much space out wide, and Bamford's occupied the centre-back again, which I'll show you in a second. Create that space. There we go. Not only is he occupying him, who he drags right out of position, he's actually occupying him, which allows Brendan Aronson to sneak in behind if that is an option. Look. And there he's in a position he does not want to be in. That's a centre-back. He's held him off, he's created that space, and look at the gaps in every other position. And again, it's about us being that team that can execute these more often. We're not that team yet. But this is big building blocks. And so far, watching this game, Bamford is a huge part of that. Again, gets tackled, ref plays advantage. That's 6. And even here, that it's difficult for him to really find an option at this point. And this is like stopped image. You know, this guy within half a second is like here in front of Brendan Aronson. The second he swings his foot, he's already in front of him. The second he swings his foot, he's already in front of him, and you can see him progressing here. Yeah, not a lot of options. He actually does well to play advantage, and I think we get a corner from it. Good centre forward play. Yeah, another one here when the ball comes across. I think he's anticipating Jack is going to hit it first time, but his touch is not off, but it goes behind him a little bit. Yeah, Jack passed it. He was just a bit flat-footed. This way you need a little movement, either come deep to create space for Aronson in behind, or just go front post, do something. He kind of just stands there a bit flat-footed. They win the ball back from the cross. Just some little things. Another one I really liked, just being alert in this position. And this is, again, the players are executing this, but this is the coach's tactic. As we've got the ball in this position, Aronson has drifted out wide in that area. Bamford has just found the ball in here. All this space. And his first touch was a ball out wide to Jack, who wins the throw-in. So again, it's good play.
It's progressing the ball. It's keeping the ball. It's knowing when to play quick and when to slow it down. And I think he did that perfectly. In areas of games as well, it's always good playing quick, high energy, but sometimes you've got to slow the game down and let the players recover their energy, let the players, get their breath back. And then here he notices a position to play quick. Potentially could have played slower, but we won a throwing anyway. It came from that. It's a decent ball over the top to Harrison. And this is the first time he gives the ball away. We're on the 32nd minute. Great ball from Clark. And I like this though. I like the idea here. So it's a cutting pass, and Bamford's just off picture here. He's here. He receives the ball here, and it takes all their midfield out of it. You see? And there he is again, occupying 2 players. Now, all it needed here was a little ball to McKenna, who can play the ball out to Fairport and out to Sinistera, which we did 2 times before through Bamford. This is where he messes up. It's a bad pass. It goes straight to this guy. But if we're analysing bad passes, I could stop any player here that lost the ball. No. But it's the idea. He's on that wavelength with Robin Koch. Whereas before we might have just seen a ball over the top to him, a high ball, deal with that. Whereas now it's that ball's coming in there. Are you there? Yes. And then when we are there, that pass does come into McKenna. Look at the options we've got out here. And that's the execution. We just got to get that a little bit more crisp. Again, in this position, just that instinct, which was where Rodrigo is huge. Great ball from little Eddie from McKenna. Good ball from Jack. But again, he comes short. For me personally, I'm not a striker, but from what I've analysed, just get in between them. Just get in this area. You can see the weight of his foot. He's watching his front post. He's not coming out here. He's watching his front post. He's telling his defenders, look, to get in here. Just sit in between them two. Aronson can get the edge here. You go in there, or even front, little flick. Aronson can get in there, but they just kind of both stop and they're both in this position. Now, obviously, the way Jack crosses these, they're all coming back. So maybe that's something they've worked on. But again, I still think one of them should be in. And then if it does come back, then he's occupying these 2 guys in there. And Aronson's got a free run and can have a shot. Again, the little movements where Rodrigo, for a fact Rodrigo's in there. Rodrigo's in that 6-yard box, front post, flicking it. You know that. Different players, different strengths, different weaknesses. Yeah, look. Same position. You don't want them in the same position. Same lines. You don't want that. He has to come in here. That's just, I think. See this one? And this one here, it's a great run. Rocker's got the ball on the byline. He actually comes from deep this time and has a run on it. But he kind of just flicks the ball and it goes into this area and Sinistera nearly has an open goal. The one. But this time the movement's great. But this time it's the execution of the finish, which he slices at. And it goes to there. But the movement's better. That's what you need. Just the execution. This is, again, like I keep saying, a player like Rodrigo probably scores that. Right? But have we got up to that position with Rodrigo? There's a lot of options for Leeds. And they are different players, but they both have really good, strong individual attributes. Yep, and I'll show it again. Rocker wins the ball in here. Ball comes to Bamford. Great position again. Little flick out here. Hold the ball. Little ball out to Jack are the options. His first touch isn't great. He goes straight to their defender. Again, so this is twice. Right, in the first half. But compared to the 6-7 other times where he's actually held the ball up and created ways to attack, it's a good outcome. But he's in the areas. He's in the positions. It's a bit loose. It's a bit angly. That's fine. Every player's lost the ball. Number one, ball comes over the top. Same position again, really stretching their centre-backs. Really stretching it. But this is position now where what he does is he holds onto the ball and he waits for numbers because he's realised, look, yeah, he's got space and he's stretched loads of the area, but there's not a lot of options. There's only Aronson. So what he does here is he holds onto the ball, he waits, delays, and plays the ball. Waits, delays, plays the ball. The only option there is still Aronson, really, forward. He's going to be struggle to get through this. Smart play. Effective. Sinistera's a joke, by the way. Watching this game back, Sinistera's a joke. What on earth? I'm glad he was being injured because that means we might actually, have to play for next season. Otherwise, if he's played like this all season, we wouldn't have him, would we? If he was fit all season, we'd be all right, I reckon. And I'm going to do 1 or 2 more, and that's it because this video has gone way too long. But I want to have a good sample size. I want to show good and bad. I want to show both. A lot of it was good. Now here in this position in the second half, the ball comes up. Again, the guy is on him, literally tight. And how many times has he won the battle between them two so far? Once. I think. Once. That's it. And what he does here, his first touch is very baggy. But because of the option we've got and because of his endeavour, it doesn't matter. I'll show you. So he has a touch. Goes straight to our player. Not where he intended it to go, but it's gone there. And he's still there. He's still around the ball. He still wanted it. He was after it. He was getting that ball before any of their players. It's important. It's what you need from a striker. If he's just got a bad touch, and what he does is provides that energy. And I genuinely saw some people saying he looked like he didn't want it. From the 6-7 examples I showed you in the first half of him going out wide, of him running defenders in this position here, running back when he's done a bad touch, to say he doesn't want it is just a bias at this point. Criticise his touch, criticise some of his decisions, obviously, yes. But to criticise, to say he doesn't want it, he looked not bothered, he complains. Look, every footballer complains. I'm the worst for it. I believe it. I'm horrible when I play. No one likes me. That is what it is. It's nothing. It means nothing. Just competitive. All over from Rocky here. But what I like, it's recognising where he should be. Like a lot of the time, he's gone out wide, but this time he's noticed because he's 1v1 with this defender, who, by the way, at this point is man marking him. Look how tight he always is. He had a decent performance, to be fair, but he got ripped once or twice. Got ripped apart once or twice, but not all the time. He did quite well. But again, it's that stretching depth, giving us depth, but single depth. So not depth where he's on the line and all the defenders have gone with him. At this time, he's noticed that he's 1v1. So he's created that depth himself to create this 1v1 situation. Now what he ends up doing is going across, getting his body well. The guy has a shot, the defender blocks, it goes to a throw-in, other side of the pitch. It's good movement, it's a great ball from Rocker. Good coaching, it's good everything. It's good play all around. It's not a criticism here because he's not scored. Like, come on. Like, he's ran in this position here and you can see the angle, you can see the shot he's going for. It's a good block. It's good defending. Other teams are allowed to have good areas, you know. It doesn't mean our players are bad. It means other teams actually have good, decent players as well. It's a good block. It's a good block. Great run. The fact that he can, from that one ball, can get in this position where he stretched them that much. Their entire defence is gone. It's a good play. Again, there it is. The second Rocket gets that ball, it's that trigger. He knows exactly where he wants it, exactly where he's going. It's good coaching. It's good a play by Rocker, and it's a good run by Bamford and good play by Bamford. Again, just really quickly, there it is again, the trigger. Harrison gets the ball. He's noticed his 1v1 in a wider position, so he's kept that line, and Harrison doesn't give him the ball. The guy defender blocks it, but it's a good run, and it's good occupying again. It's what, and you're seeing the trends that Javi wanted now. You're seeing them. You're seeing what he wanted his striker to do, and he's done it. He's done the job he needed him. That's my bad. So he makes the run, yeah, and again the idea, I think the pass is a little off, or Harrison's made the different run. I think Harrison comes inside a little bit, and he wants him further out. I'm not sure, but it's the idea, it's the occupation he has. It's the isolation. He's isolated him here. So there's a lot of space, invert or overlap, any of it. There's areas to exploit when he occupies defenders like this. They're doing that because it's a threat. There's no doubt about it. And these two defenders had a nightmare, and Felipe boots him later on because he's frustrated. I think this is my favourite part of his entire performance. Ball comes, just a high ball, Jack Harrison, but he knows Bamford's going to be there. And look, he's ready already. 1v1 with this defender again, occupying him. The defender gets there first, but who comes out on top? The defender wins the header there. Who anticipates the ball first? Bamford does. And look at this, occupying him. He's holding that ball. That's his ball. I love what he does here. He recognises again from what before, not to force it, which he maybe did, to hold on to it and let players come into it. Sees off that defender. Jack's run allows this guy to be a bit further away. Sees off his defender. Waits and waits. Delays the play, doesn't force it, still waiting for a real option. So what he notices here, he can maybe play that ball in there, but holds the ball, waits. This guy's going to press him. The ball is then to Rocker or Sinistera. In the end, it goes to Cine. And we'll create this chance, and we know the chance. Good centre-forward play. Very good centre-forward play. This is nothing to do with Bamford. This is Shelby. I've seen people criticising Clark for this. Sometimes you've got to appreciate the opponent's pass. Shelby is literally looking at the other side of the pitch. Look at him. this ball here is outstanding. Box in an alright position. Because you want the guy in front of you. You don't want him behind you. Cock can't be here. You don't want the guy behind him. You need him in front of you. It's in a decent position. Everyone is anticipating, even his own players, that even Shelby's looking over there. What's he do? Little one in here.
It's a great pass. I can't lie. And Firpo's recovery is outstanding.
It's not bad defending.
It isn't. It's a great pass. Players can do that.
Professional footballers, they can do that. We'll recover all right. It's a great pass.
Yeah, there's a lot been said about this one. I don't know, it's a weird one. I think he thinks he's offside. But again, this is a position now where
Rodrigo gets on target.
And this is the thing with Bamford. We know he's not that clinical striker.
But I've shown what I think he's very, very valuable in this team for. But there's not a way for me you can have both of them on the pitch in a game like this. I think it's difficult. Because whether you like it or not, and I wanted to another video on Aronson, but I ain't got the time. Aronson's role in this was vital. It was. I didn't think so yesterday. I thought he did well, all right. But I actually when watching the game now, Aronson's occupation, again, that word, occupying defenders, moving players out of position, driving the ball at the field, being an option, not allowing defenders to settle was very important. Now this, yeah, it's a great touch, by the way, though. The finish, just get on target, man. It's unlucky. It's unlucky. Yeah, this was the most frustrating part for me in the entire Bamford. If you're still here, fair play. This was the most frustrating part, I think. So Rocket, outstanding tackle. Bamford wins the ball in this position. Again, though, he's there. He's ready. He's alert in the 74th minute. He's probably tired by now, which I'll give him a little slack. After what all injuries had, playing 90 minutes, it's difficult. Rocket makes a great tackle. Bamford gets the ball here. In fairness, he waits. He's waiting for options. Yeah. Is Jack going or coming to feet? I think he wasn't too sure. But he delays it. But as he delays it, that's when Jack decides to make the running behind, as you can see. That's when Jack says, oh, okay, I'm going to go in behind. But then Bamford wants it feet, which then the defender intercepts.
For me, yeah.
Either get an announced decision, what do you want? But for me, again, as a winger, I've got to tell him feet off or not. That's my responsibility too. Do I want it feet earlier? Could I have drifted out a little bit more? Like come out, occupy him a bit closer, then go in, or just stepped up and allowed the overload or whatever. But there's two ways of communication in this situation for me, and I'm a winger,
and that's what I'd say.
And I usually back us, but you have to communicate what you want, and it's frustrating as a winger. Yeah, when the pass doesn't come to you, it's frustrating. But it's not always their fault.
Yeah, I like this here. Little switch for Rodrigo. Bamford coming into play, dropping deep, playing it around. But we'll leave it at that. There's two or three more times where I think once he holds up, once he loses it. Once he loses it, wins it back, loses it, wins it back, loses it. He does that. But there's my sample size, and that's big enough for me. 80 minutes is big enough. Look, I get the criticism. But I can't criticise a player at least properly until I've fully seen them 90 minutes again and actually watch that player and watch how little movements work. And like I said at the start of the video, if you're still here, fair play. It's them little nuances, them little movements that make him effective. Occupying defenders, making the right runs, getting in areas, and actually a lot of the time, especially in the first half, holding the ball up well, winning a foul or playing the ball out to a winger or a fullback effectively. And he did that very well. So I'm not really big on the criticism for him for yesterday. That's my opinion. Look, I've gone on for a while. I have work to do, so I'm going to have to stop it there. I appreciate all the support. I'll get onto the comments tonight once I've done a bit more work. Yeah, let me know what you guys think after watching as much as this you could be bothered to watch. I appreciate the support. Please leave a like. Yeah.